Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning to each and every one of you. Welcome to the Traveling Tarot. This is your daily psychic forecast for Thursday, October 17th, 2019. My name is Stephen Dillard Carroll. So, how is everyone doing this morning? I'm doing great. I've spent a little bit of time thinking about our past two readings, yesterday and Tuesday's reading. Powerful stuff, you guys. Really, really powerful stuff. I'm grateful to the universe to allow me to be that vessel to share that encouragement with you guys. If you haven't watched the yesterday's video or Tuesday's video, I strongly encourage you to watch them in order. Watch Tuesdays and then Wednesdays, because it's really good stuff. It's life lessons. It's just really good stuff. And I really don't like to toot my own horn, but and I'm really not in this case. I'm just saying that truth came through, and I was the lucky enough vessel to allow that to come through for you guys. So do check out those videos if you have time, and hopefully today will be just as good of a video, right? Hopefully we will give you some encouragement and enlightenment and some empowerment, and give you a little bit of emboldenment, and most of all, give you some unconditional love, which is why you should share this video with someone who needs all of that, and especially someone who needs some unconditional love, because that is what we are all about on this channel. So go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you. And share this video with people who you think might benefit from all of the above. This is a reading for the collective today, as it is every day, and my hope is that you can glean something good and positive and life-affirming and hopefully life-changing from all of my videos, regardless of your current circumstance. And finally, after this video ends, I hope that you feel emboldened and empowered and encouraged and enlightened to go out there and make good and positive changes in your life, make good and positive choices in your life, so that you can live the best life possible for yourself. So let's jump into today's reading. I do a 3-card reading. Our first card, and I like to think of it, I'm sorry, I have something in my throat. I like to think of it as, as a storyline, as a good book, as a plot line, as a thoroughfare. So we'll have our main plot line in the first card, and then we'll have our 2 subplots, which will give some insight and inspiration and some depth and color to the main thoroughfare, the main plot line for today. So without further ado, let's jump right on into it. Our main storyline today is brought to us by... I am being told to pull from the bottom, and so I am going to do so. I generally don't, but here we go. The Queen of Raphael. The Queen, hang on, there. The Queen of Raphael, which is represented by the Queen of Cups in the Rider-Waite deck. But there she is. There is the Queen of Raphael. And the Queen of Raphael is kind, understanding, giving, and psychic. Follow your heart, a love of home and family, trustworthy psychic information. I love this card. I especially love the Rider-Waite interpretation of the Queen of Cups. They're both very, 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 very full of water. Whenever the Queen of Raphael or the Queen of Cups comes through, I say, I always ask the querent, are you pregnant? Even if it's a guy, I ask him if he's pregnant. Because the Queen of Raphael can certainly denote adding to the family and pregnancy and all of that. So I have to ask you guys out there, are you pregnant? Are you planning on getting pregnant? If you're not planning on getting pregnant and you are of the age where you can still get pregnant, I encourage you to take birth control seriously, because whenever the Queen of Raphael comes up, it says that if you're not careful, you might end up with a kid. So that's the first thing. And of course, the second thing is, regardless of whether if you've gone through menopause or not, the Queen of Raphael does denote home and family, and so it could be that if you're a grandparent, that you might be the main caregiver for your grandchild. I know that I believe that Oklahoma leads the nation as far as grandparents being the main caregiver for their grandchildren. I believe we lead the nation in that, and so it could be that the Queen of Raphael is saying that wherever you are on this planet, that possibly you could be called upon to take the lead in the raising of your grandchild. That could be it. We'll see. We have two more cards to go through, our two subplots for today. And our first subplot is brought to us by the Page of Michael, which of course is the Page of Swords in the Rider-Waite deck. But there's the Page of Michael. And the Page of Michael is truthful, perceptive, analytical, and blunt. An exciting new challenge. You have what it takes to succeed. Review contracts or documents very thoroughly. So, okay, so maybe we are moving into a caregiver kind of a situation here. Dotting the I's and crossing the T's, and an exciting new challenge, and you have what it takes to succeed. So I feel like this is a caregiving reading, whether it be grandparents, or it could be that you might be taking on a sibling's child or cousin's child or something like that. I feel like this is a reading that's shaping up to be a caregiving kind of a reading, but we'll see. We'll see. We have one more subplot to go through this morning before I can determine for sure if that's what I am seeing. But here we go. So our third subplot is being brought to us by the Magician. The Magician card. This is the first time the Magician is showing up in our readings since this channel started. So that's wonderful. The Magician. Yes. And the Magician is Archangel Raziel, and he says you can manifest the life you want. What you need will magically appear. Successful beginnings. Okay. So there's the Magician card. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, and our gender non-conforming people out there, this does have to do with family and taking on the responsibility of raising children. And I'm going to keep this general in as much as it could be a grandparent, it could be a sibling, it could be a cousin, it could even be a family friend. Someone out there is being presented with the opportunity to take on a young spirit, to take on a spirit that has recently manifested on this earthly plane, because their biological parents can't take care of them. If this is you, you have what it takes to succeed. A love of home and family, trustworthy psychic information, following your gut, listening to your heart, following your heart. It could be that might be the opportunity for you to help someone else in that way, to be a good parent to someone that desperately needs a good parent in their life. It could be that if it weren't for you, if not for you, this person, this precious little gift, could end up in foster care or in the system somehow. And I speak from experience with this because my younger brother, who was adopted by my mother, is actually my first cousin. Many years ago, my younger brother and I are both over 40 years ago, so over 40 years old. So over 40 years ago, my brother came to this planet, and my aunt, who is his biological mother, did not have the skills to take care of this precious little spirit. And he had a lot of health problems coming into this world, and his mother simply did not have the skills necessary to take care of him. And it was getting to the point that social services was about to get involved. And my mother, being the kind of woman that she is, said, I will take responsibility for this precious spirit, and I will make sure that he is taken care of. She told her sister that if she wanted to take my younger brother back, she could after he turned 3 years old. She figured that she needed to at least give him 3 years of, because he had a lot of health problems as a kid. Thankfully, those health problems, he grew out of them, and through surgery and all other stuff, it was taken care of. But he had he started out at a disadvantage as a baby, and so she felt like she needed at least 3 years to nurse him back to health and, get him stable and steady, and then she would be happy to give him back to his biological mother. His third birthday came and went, and subsequent birthdays came and went, and his mother never claimed him. And it was probably for the best, because he had a much better upbringing in our household than he possibly could have if he had been reclaimed by his birth mother. And so I know of what I speak, because it's actually happened in my family more than once, actually. But not more than once in my immediate family, but certainly more than once in my extended family, where family has just stepped in and has just said, okay, we need to take care of this kid. And it's happened, like I said, more than once. And family, circles the wagons and gets in there and makes sure that family is taken care of. And so the Queen of Raphael is saying that perhaps there might be someone within your family that needs you, that needs your help, that needs your guidance, that needs you. And further than that, and even let's expand this out a little bit further than that. If you have a need to be of good and positive service to our young spirits out there, volunteer. Boys and Girls Club of America. And I know that that's not the only, Big Brothers, Big Sisters program. There are so many ways to get involved in that way. Even if you don't have an immediate need of a family member or a friend who needs you to take care of their child, perhaps you can fulfill that need within you to be of good and positive service to our youngest of spirits out there by volunteering to be a big brother, a big sister, or volunteer in the Boys and Girls Club of America, or something. There are so many kids out there that need a good adult to look up to. There are so many kids out there that need proper guidance. There are so many kids out there that need to see an adult that's doing the right thing so that they can emulate that kind of behavior. And again, it doesn't have to be as emergency oriented as needing to take care of a child within your circle of influence immediately, but it could be that there is a child out there that is hurting, that needs your help. And even kids in the neighborhood. You might be a business owner that could, give a kid an after-school job or something like that. Or you could be, or you could volunteer at the library, or just whatever way that you can be of good and positive service to our littlest of spirits. It's important that you do so. Today's reading is literally all about being of service to children out there. And again, it may be an emergency situation within your circle of influence, or it may be just that the universe is pushing you towards that kind of service. Trustworthy psychic information, as our Queen of Raphael says. If you're getting the strong urge to volunteer for the Boys and Girls Club or volunteer for Big Brothers or Big Sisters, there's a reason behind that. There is a huge reason behind that. The Queen of Raphael is saying there is someone out there that needs you, and needs you specifically. That needs guidance that only you can give. Because sometimes, and I often say this in my readings, people who need me find me. And it's not that, I give them information that another psychic couldn't give them, because quite frankly, if psychics are worth their salt, if you went to 5 different psychics and asked them the same question, they would probably give you the same answer. But there might be 1 or 2 that give it in a way that you understand better, that resonates with you better. And so going back to, being a mentor to small children, you might give them the same advice that, a dozen other adults have already given them. But because you say it in a specific way, because you show it in a specific way, because you live it in a specific way, that way resonates with that child. And that child will get it because it came from you. Again, it's the same information that they've gotten before, but because of who you are as a spirit, because of your uniqueness, because of your creativity, uniqueness, nerve, and talent, because of all of that, because of you, who you are, that kid gets it. That kid gets it. And the Queen of Raphael is encouraging you that if you are feeling pulled in that direction, to certainly explore it. The Page of Michael, and truthful, perceptive, and analytical, and blunt. An exciting new challenge. You have what it takes to succeed. Review contracts and documents very thoroughly. This is just kind of confirming our Queen of Raphael. It's an exciting new challenge. There may be some people out there that wouldn't have dreamed in a million years that they'd be at the Boys and Girls Club volunteering. There might be somebody out there that wouldn't think in a million years to bring on a kid to sweep the floor at the barber shop or at the convenience store. There might be somebody out there who never in a million years would ever dream to be a mentor to a child. But all of a sudden, this opportunity presents itself, and it's an exciting new challenge. And you have what it takes to succeed. I mention that because we never know what the universe might throw our way. And sometimes it's a challenge that we didn't even expect that would be thrown our way, but all of a sudden it becomes the challenge that defines us. It becomes a challenge that changes us. It's the challenge that gives us a leap in our own spiritual evolution. What a wonderful challenge. And the page of Michael is saying we have what it takes to succeed. Now, of course, review contracts and documents very thoroughly. That's for anybody. It's very smart. There's a Patty LaHelle used to do this YouTube channel where all the great divas would basically read each other for filth for about 20 minutes per episode. And it was led by Patty LaBelle and the late, great Aretha Franklin. And one of the lines in it was Patty LaBelle saying, "I'm like terms and contracts. Nobody can read me." But this is saying, the page of Michael is saying that if you're entering into this kind of situation, whether it be an emergency kind of family situation, or whether it be, you are entering into a mentorship program of some sort, whether it be through Big Brothers or Big Sisters, or through the Boys and Girls Club of America, make sure to review your contracts and documents very thoroughly. Cross your I's and dot your T's exactly where you're supposed to, and don't sign anything that you don't feel is right for you. Generally, if it's one of those national or international organizations, generally they're above board, and everything would be okay. But it's good advice for all of us. We can't be like Patty LaHelle and say, "I'm like terms and contracts, nobody can read me." We can't be that way in life. It's important for us to review our contracts and documents very thoroughly, and that's just good advice for anybody. And finally, the magician. You can manifest the life you want. What you need will magically appear. Successful beginnings. Again, going back to my situation in my personal life, letting you behind the veil on me, I believe I've told this story before. My mother had a heart attack around 10 years ago, and she was in the ICU for 30 days, and we didn't know if she was going to live or die. She was basically under for 30 days. Or not, was she under for 30 days? I want to say she was under for at least the majority of that 30 days. No, it was 30 days that she was under. And they were taking care of her, and they basically... Well, no, she was not under for 30 days. She couldn't have been under for 30 days. Anyway, the point is, her kidneys failed. A lot of things went wrong while she was healing in the ICU. And when she finally came through it, and she was finally released from the hospital, and she was released from hospice and allowed to go home, I was tasked to take care of her. My dad, or I was tasked to take care of her during the day. My dad was still working at the time, and he worked during the day. So I would show up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and my dad would leave, and he would tag out, and I made all 3 meals for her every day. I took her to all of her appointments every day. I made sure that her bandages were changed at least twice a day, every day. I was there when physical therapy came by. I was there when they set up a hospital bed in the den. I was there for for all of that, and it was on me to basically take care of her during the day. And then my dad would come home in the evening. We would all have dinner together, and I would tag out, and I would go home, and my dad would take care of her during the night. So I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I did not know what I was doing. I had been given instructions. She had to be on a specific diet. She couldn't have too much salt. She couldn't eat certain foods. She had to be on this strict diet. And I've changed a Band-Aid before. You know what I'm saying? I've changed a big Band-Aid before, but I didn't have any experience in cleaning wounds. I did not have any experience with putting a bandage on, putting gauze over it, taping it up, and all of it. I didn't have any experience with that. I did not know what I was doing. The magician, you can manifest the life you want. What you need will magically appear. Successful beginnings. Let me tell you something. For 6 months, I nursed my mother. Because I was there during the day and my father was not, it was on me to take care of most of the practical things, like taking her to dialysis, taking her to her doctor, taking her to her other doctor and her other doctor, making sure that she was fed 3 times a day, and making sure she didn't eat what she wasn't supposed to eat, and everything. It was all on me during the day to do that. My dad, of course, had the job of, checking in on her multiple times a night to make sure that she was okay. But I had the majority of the heavy lifting, I would say. And so I didn't know what I was doing, but somehow, some way, in that 6 months that I took care of her, I nursed her back to health. Or we both nursed her back to health. Or my dad, me, and my mom all nursed my mom back to health, and it worked out. The Magician card, bringing it back to our focus for today, the Magician card is saying you can create something. You can create something out of nothing. Do not be afraid that you cannot do what you are being told you need to do. The Page of Michael is saying you have what it takes to succeed. The Magician is saying you can manifest the life that you want. What you need will magically appear if you are following what you're supposed to be doing. And by the way, this is in general, in life in general. If you are doing what you are supposed to be doing, it's incredible the doors that will open for you. And it's incredible the information you will get, the leads that you will get, the resources that you will get, the networking that you will be a part of. It is just amazing how much the universe opens up when we are doing what we're supposed to be doing. I'm not saying that it's hard, that it's not hard, because it is. It is hella hard. Especially when you're dealing with the littlest of spirits, the youngest of spirits. There is no easy way to raise a kid. There's no easy way to be a mentor to a kid. There's just no easy way of doing it. So yes, it's going to be hard. There is no getting around that. But the Magician card is saying what you need will magically appear. What you need, when you need it, will happen. You can manifest the life that you want. You can actually be of good and positive service to this particular spirit that has been entrusted to you. You have what it takes. Successful beginnings. And that's just saying that regardless of how long you're in this child's life, you are going to be a positive influence in that child's life. That child is never going to forget the lessons that you taught them as they were in your care. And again, it doesn't matter how long you are of service to that child. It just matters that while you are in service to that child, that you are presenting yourself in a way that vibrates, again, vibrating, vibrating, vibrating at the highest of frequencies, at the very, very highest of frequencies. So anyway, there we go. So I'm interested to see what happens here. If somebody out there is about to adopt a child or take over responsibilities for a family member or a friend that can't anymore, or it's somebody that might be mentoring a child, or volunteering at the Boys and Girls Club, or Big Brothers Big Sisters, I would be interested to see how that is manifesting for you. Kids need our help. Kids need our help. And if you are inclined to help children, I encourage you to take this opportunity to allow that drive to become a reality. So let's get into our nitty-gritty for today. We're going to do a 3-card spread, which is a morning, midday / afternoon card and an evening card. So, and we'll see with these 3 cards if the universe has anything more specific that it would like to share with us. So here we go. Here is our morning card. Here is our afternoon card. And here is our evening card. Okay. Page of Swords is our morning card. There's our Page of Swords. And what did we say the Page of Swords was? The Page of Michael. There it is. The same card. So our morning, this is saying that this opportunity actually is going to happen sooner rather than later, and the time is now to act upon it. You should wake up this morning feeling like you need to put this drive to help children into action. This morning is the time for you to do research. Well, not just research, but because I get the feeling that you probably have done research leading up to this, but now is the time to make that choice and to make that decision. This morning the universe is encouraging you to stop researching, to get out of the kitchen and start serving up what you have created. So the Page of Swords is saying this morning is the time to begin that process and make choices and start dotting those I's and crossing those T's. Midday, the Sun card. I love this, especially because it has a kid in it. It's one of the few cards in the Rider-Waite that has a kid. And I'm trying to think if... Yeah, the 6 of Cups has kids in it, and there might be 1 or 2 other cards, maybe, that has kids in it. But regardless, the Sun card, this denotes success, beginning of success, the beginning of new things, the beginning of something really, really, really successful. And because it has a kid in it, it says that however you are going to be involved in a child's life, it's going to be successful. In fact, if you decide to go the route of Big Brother, Big Sister, Boys and Girls Club, the kid that will be entrusted to you, or the kids that will be entrusted to you, are really going to thrive because of you. Because you have entered into their lives, they are going to thrive. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. You are going to be such a good influence on a kid. I promise you, you are going to be such a good influence on somebody out there today that needs you. So that's wonderful news. And finally, we have the Hanged Man, and it's in the reverse position for our evening card. And generally when the hangman is in the reverse position, it means to get off the tree, stop meditating, stop contemplating it, and just do it. So, and also to trust again with the magician, trust that, or I should say the page of Michael, you have what it takes to succeed, and what you need will magically appear. The hanged man is, for our evening card, is saying, now is the time to put faith into action and to trust. And when you do, great things will happen. So, yeah, I love this, I love this, I love this, I love this, I love this. Kids are not my calling. I feel like from the age of 0 to 3, I love children. I think they're great. And then from 3 to 18, a lot of shit goes down. So I always, if I could, I would have kids and then hand them off at 3 and then come and get them when they were 18, which is why, first of all, that's horrible, and second of all, that's why I don't have children, because between 3 and 18, oof, that is a roller coaster ride. So, and that ride really doesn't end until the rest of your life, but it does slow down dramatically once they go off to college, at least if everything is done right. Things slow down. So, yeah, if you have a calling for children, don't ignore that calling. It's a wonderful calling. Yeah, so we're going to do affirmators, our regular affirmator for today. So yeah. Yeah, I love it. I love the idea of being of good and positive service to kids, because kids need it. I tell you, the world that we live in today, kids need to be to be brought up in a way that teaches them how to unconditionally love not only themselves, but unconditionally love other people. It's so important, so very important nowadays for kids to be not only taught that at a very early age, but that lesson be ingrained into them at a very early age, because what the world needs now is love, sweet love. That's the only thing that there's just not enough of, or something, whatever. Anyway, so if that is your calling, definitely go for it this morning. So here's our affirmator, and options pops up again. Options pops up again. It came up for us yesterday, and there it is again today. And option says, as I open up to the abundant possibilities of my life's path, I'm reminded that I always have unlimited options. Life is a buffet, and I always allow myself to choose whatever makes me happiest, without limiting thoughts like you can't put mac and cheese on your baked potato. The universe is opening up another option for you. The universe is opening up an opportunity for you to expand yourself and expand your own spiritual growth. You know, we've talked a lot about the kids today, as we should, because that's what this reading is all about today. But and we've talked about, being of good and positive service to children so that you can aid in their spiritual evolution. But anyone who works with kids will tell you straight up that kids teach them so much more than they could ever teach kids. And so with that in mind and knowing that, just know that this opportunity that is going to be presented to you is you are not only going to be of good and positive service to that kid, but that kid is going to be of good and positive service to you, and is going to expand you, and is going to open you up so much more than if you had never met that kid. And it's going to offer you more options as far as ways your life can go in good and positive directions. So it's a symbiotic relationship. One helps the other, and what a wonderful thing! I'm in your corner, and I'm rah-rah-rahing for you as you pursue this particular form of service. And while you do, I encourage you to love yourself. Love yourself fully. Love yourself completely. Love yourself wholly. Love yourself unconditionally. Love yourself first. Love yourself foremost. And everything else will fall into place. Love yourself unconditionally today. And love that kid unconditionally today. Have a great Thursday, everyone. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.